Okay, it's been about 2 minutes. Here's our moment of truth. We can start to take a look at our film. It's still fixing, but the vast majority of the fixing is done, so we don't have to worry too much about taking a look to see how it is. It should be mostly done. Okay, so we can see on the film whether or not it's done fixing by the level of cloudiness. If we look at this piece of film here, there's still some cloudiness to it. This probably wasn't down in the fixer all the way, but we can kind of pull up some of our film and take a look. There's still a little remjet that's clinging to the film. I don't know if you'll see this, but I'll see if I can get close up with the camera. But you can see a little bit of remjet, but you should just be able to, if you just touch it, it comes off on your finger. But the film's still looking pretty milky. So what I'm going to do is rearrange it so this top stuff gets a little bit further down into the water, into the fixer here. Kind of pull it out. If I was in my sink, I'd pull the whole ball out here and take a look at it, but I don't have the sink. So I'm just going to rotate this around, pack it back down into our fixer. I'm just going to set the lid on lightly here. We don't have to really make it tight, and let it sit for a couple more minutes. Hopefully, in a minute or two, the film will look basically completely clear. Okay, everything is looking pretty clear. I left the film in for another 5 minutes or so, which should have been plenty, and it is. Everything's looking very good. There's still a little bit of remjet and some other things clinging to the film. What I'm going to do now is pour out the fixer and then fill this back up and rinse it out really well. So I'm actually going to leave this under some running, as a little thin stream of running water for 5 or 10 or 15 minutes or so, and rinse all the fixer off of the film. Then I'm going to pull it out into my sink to run it through my fingers and get the final little bits of remjet off of the film. So there's still a little bit that clings to it. You don't want that to dry on the film because it'll be almost impossible to get off then. But at this stage, it's very easy to get the remaining little bits off of your film. Okay, I've given the film a quick rinse, and I'm going to pull it out onto the table here so you can see what you're going to get when you get done. Here's our roll of film, and it's going to have some errors. It's going to have some problems with it because of the nature of hand processing in an open tank like this. We definitely will see some problems. Here's a piece of film that has an adhesion. Let's see if I can find one that's still stuck. Here's what happens. When your film comes, when you ball it up like that, sometimes two pieces of film will get together and they'll stick together, and the developer and the other chemicals can't get to all the layers. So they'll stick together, and then you'll get this little piece of film. One side will probably be developed okay, although it has very sticky remjet here that won't come off, but it will have developed on the back side. But then this piece of film is completely undeveloped here. So you're going to have some little undeveloped spots. If you're really good at agitating it, it's likely that you'll get it completely without adhesions. But adhesions can have an interesting look about them. So, I mean, it's not the worst thing that ever happened. So a good agitation will keep the adhesions from happening. Sometimes you'll get a little piece of film that'll stick out of the liquid in different stages, and it will have good pieces or bad pieces. But there's a lot. This one's probably the one with the most adhesions I've had in quite a while, and still there's only a couple of them. You're really, as you project this, only going to lose a few frames, and it will give you some interesting looks. There's still some remjet. I haven't run this through my fingers, but usually as I take this ball of film and tease it out to get it so that I can hang it up and get it all straight, once I get it all teased out, then I just run it through my fingers like this, and all the remaining remjet will come off of the film. What are you going to get when you're done? Well, this is a piece of 72-43 film. As you can see, it's not clear. It's going to have a color mask on it. So it's going to have an orange mask coloring to the film base. That's something you're going to have to deal with after you digitize the film. Normally you just desaturate or turn your footage into black and white, because that's all this really is. The color information is buried in this film, and if you developed it in color chemicals, you would have color film. But in this case, since we're doing it in an extremely rudimentary or almost primitive way of developing, we're only going to get black and white. It's also a negative, so you're going to have to switch it from positive to negative in your computer to get this to look like regular footage. So it's definitely something different to work with. Another little issue that you're likely going to come up against is because you've handled it like this and you're running it through your fingers, all kinds of things like that, you're going to have lots of little scratches. Dust is going to get stuck to your film. So there's all kinds of little artifacts that this is going to give you. It's not going to be a pristine looking film. It's not going to be perfect. If you're looking for perfect, send your film out to be developed. There are several commercial developers. Developing a roll of film like this is going to cost you at least $15 or $20, likely much more, possibly 30 or 40 bucks a roll. This method of processing is very inexpensive, but it gives you very primitive results. Even if you're shooting black and white film and you want to do reversal, like the Plus X, the Tri-X films, you can send that out. They'll do a reversal process and you can project it. This is unprojectable film. You're going to have to do a lot of tweaking in the computer to make it look good. Once your film is all rinsed, you've teased it all out into a long string so that it's all one ball instead of it being knotted up. Then it's time for you to hang it up to dry. You can do an optional stage where you do photo flow, where you, while it's in its last bath, put in a little bit of photo flow, let it sit for a minute or so, then you can pull it out. That'll create less water spots on your film and give you a little bit nicer look to it. Then it's time to hang up your film to dry in the most dust-free environment that you can do. You can just put a couple shelf racks on your wall or something like that, so you can drape it around and get the full 100 feet up off the floor. Make sure you don't let it touch the floor and get dust on it, and let this dry. It'll dry. I usually just let it dry overnight, and then when you're done, you'll be able to reel this up on your reel so that you can figure out how to digitize or capture your film. I want to thank you for watching today. Make sure to check out my blog, 16mmAdventures.com. If you're interested in purchasing any of this film and possibly a kit so you can develop your own, check on the blog there. There should be a link to my eBay channel, and sometimes I'll have some 16mm things available there. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have fun in your 16mm adventure.